As a soul, you have gone on perfecting yourself through many births, learning lessons, becoming more enriched in a spiritual way. And therefore, you are born with an ideal setting of your mind and understanding. So it doesn't happen just by accident. You have passed through many embodiments, and in those embodiments you have worked for your evolution. Om Pūrṇamadaḥ Pūrṇamidam Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamādāya Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnānamurtim Dvandvātītam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Lakṣyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatītam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Upaśama Prakaraṇa, Section 6. Ascent to liberation, that's the topic. For attaining liberation, you have to learn to ascend, climb, not descend, ascend. Sri Vasistha continued, O Rama, those who perform action in accordance with the ethical conduct enjoined in the scriptures and without any egoistic sense of actorship are liberated in life. This is the ideal to attain. Ideal is perform your actions, your daily duties, but you perform them perfectly in line with righteousness. Whatever you perform is, what I'm trying to say, it is natural. When a flower blossoms, if the flower, I'm giving you a parable, you see. If a flower is a foxy one, it buys from the market wonderful petals, puts them around, and on top of it, sprinkles essence. That flower also is smelling wonderful. But that's called kritrim, that is artificial. The spiritual movement, in the beginning, you work hard to develop virtues. In the state of enlightenment, you waft virtues. Virtues automatically radiate. You don't practice them. That state, when it is reached, you are enlightened. You are enlightened doesn't mean that you fly away. You are here on earth. As long as your body is there, you will be continuing to do all your duties. But only there is a big difference. You do not have a sense, I am the doer. You don't want to be patted on the basis of your ego. No ego patting. And you are detached. You are not expecting anything in return for all that you do. Because whatever the sun does to the earth planet, it doesn't make a record how much the earth owes to the sun. A mother does so much love for the child. She doesn't go on recording it, how much can it tax the child as he grows up. It's very crude illustration. Some terms are important to understand. Satsanga, how to be associated with Sat. And that's what the very general and popular term is, Satsanga. Coming to the good association. But deeper meaning of Satsanga, how to be in touch with Sat, Asatoma Sadgamaya. You are constantly in touch with Asats. That's what occupies your body, really. Things that are transient. But how to move away from that all transient and understand and be the Sat. That whole process is Satsanga. All your conduct, whatever you do, is called Achar. Your Achar should be Sat Achar. Your conduct should be perfectly in harmony, perfectly in tune with Sat. Here again, all that you do, it becomes automatic, very natural. You don't create it. And all your thoughts become Sattva-vichar. Thoughts that you entertain, you can entertain lots of thoughts, but thoughts that always understand, there is always sankalpa, vikalpa in your mind. Whenever you want to determine what should be your course of action, mind collects the whole view and then picks up what's the right course to do. It seems difficult, but if you don't want to emerge out of your house and to go for walking, you allow your eyes to move all over. And then you follow one track. Your eyes visualizing many things enables you to be at the right direction. So in brief, your vichar, thought movement, emerges out of a doubting mind and follows the right track. Following the course of karmas, actuated by selfish desire. Now let me go back a little bit. This was the ideal setting. We have first described those who are enlightened. But those who having attained human birth do not perform actions with the spirit of detachment, anasakti. Here also you have to understand that every karma that you create, it paves the way for more karmas. Because the mind is constantly under the influence of raga and dvesha, attachment and hatred. So certain type of work you do, it delights you. And having done it, your mind now holds a raga, attachment to that type of work. So begin to think, when will the occasion come? If this Mother's Day you did something and Mother gave you a lot of blessings, now come back and think within yourself, for next Mother's Day, I should start planning. There's an example of attachment. And then certain actions create hatred, dislike. So instead of having done your duty and feel relaxed, you don't feel relaxed. Simple illustration is, you are working in the kitchen and working with platanos or jackfruits. As you go on cutting them, your hands become filled with pollution. Simple remedy is, of course, kitchen people know the trick. Smear oil in your hands and just do the same thing. What has to be done, do it, but keep the hands oily. Then you are cutting them, and at the same time your hands are perfectly clean. You're doing karmas, or you are not creating karmas, your hands are clean. That's the ideal to reach. But if you don't have a deeper insight, then whatever karma you create, you are developing an expectation. You are expecting fruit of karma. This type of karma is called sakamya karma. Actions that are inspired by your expectations. And when you do them, your expectations become more keen. Your desires will not end, they go on increasing. Because mind becomes much more foxy. The world is big, and you can't be just satisfied with little things. If you are a big person, you have to have bigger things. Those who, having attained human birth, do not perform actions with the spirit of detachment. They do not perform actions with oily hands. Then what happens? They continue to rise and fall intermittently. They rise to heavenly worlds. They have bhoga state, a state of great pleasure. And heavenly world is the easy way of giving to the masses. Swarga, that's called astral pleasure. No matter how intensive that pleasure, it ends, and you continue to be whirling in the cycle of birth and death. But as long as you are dominated by karma, even heavenly pleasure is not secure. You are led to do negative karmas due to your ignorance. And those negative karmas create hellish conditions. The soul goes on experiencing heaven and hell in life and after death. In life, you are a little better off because your experience is controlled by your nervous system. The mind suddenly open to a big happiness. But your brain and nervous system will not allow an invasion of elation. And so, Beyond certain level of happiness, what happens? I'm delaying too much. But the idea is people pass out. Similarly, beyond certain degree of pain, you pass out. Nature controls it. Thanks to your body. But if you didn't have the body, and you are just operating in the mental level, now the intensity you can't imagine. Following the course of karma, actuated by selfish desire, they are born again and again in different classes of beings. The souls are born. Here again, people have a hard time to understand. For masses, majority of people, even the idea of coming back, born again, that's, unless you have gone through the Hindu scriptures, where rebirth is well recognized by people. But for the masses, coming back again is kind of a fictitious statement. Moving away from practical reality. Why to talk about the next birth? But this birth is more important to you. There is certain truth about it. What I'm leading to understand, the birth, soul enters into embodiment led by karma. So, led by good karma, a soul can be born in a wonderful family and even may live in a very progressive type of building and all progressive equipments. Led by negative karma, the soul can be born in those areas of the world where progress has not occurred, in a dilapidated house, full of termites, as well as in a family where there is a lot of discordance and a lot of problems. But that's not enough. The soul can be born as a deer. Very cozy, comfortable, joyous, and stay as a pet. And afterwards can outgrow even the people who have made the pet a pet. Because the body is not the evaluator of your soul's progress. Houses don't tell you who the residents are. So, sometimes you look at a house, very simple. But the resident comes out, is a mighty personality. So, that applies in all stages. Even as human beings, enlightenment can occur in a person like Nachiketa, even young age, or enlightenment can occur no matter what type of body you have, and you can be enlightened. The body cannot give you the exact symptom of enlightenment. Symptom of enlightenment is in a different level. No one can check the nails to find whether the person is enlightened or not. Or X-rays or whatever. Enlightenment can't be studied. So therefore, led by karma, in brief, you can be born anywhere. Human being, bird, animal, fish, anywhere. But when you are born as an animal, you don't follow biological law that now evolution will take a long time to move from animal body to bird body or whatever. That's a different study. You study residences, and they have a whole evolution. But people who live in residences don't have to do anything with the history. Try to understand that. Otherwise, students studying biology say, oh, if you become a monkey, now monkey had taken millions of years to become human being. So your soul will be trapped. It's not so. You can be monkey in one birth and a monkey in another. Rare are the souls who, having attained purity of mind and having broken the chain of craving by the force of wisdom, attain liberation. You are being reminded that qualitative attainment is not seen among people, general people, masses. You can't expect self-realization everywhere, but only select people, highly advanced, rare people. Those who have attained the qualifications of liberation are Rājasātvika in nature. Here, focus is on those who are ideal aspirants. Aspirants come in different stages. The lowest type called mand, mild. The next type is still in a dull state until you come to the madhyam type. Madhyam is called middle type, moderate. And still more called adhimatra. So I will not lead you to those terminologies. It's the only thing to understand that in every individual, three gunas keep the soul involved: sattva, rajas, and tamas. Those who are extremely dull, they are unable to sublimate tamas. Tamas is like oil. The rajas is the oil moving through a wick. And sattva, at the top of the wick, you have kindled it by flame. The sattva is... So in order to reach sattva, you must flow through the rajas. So tamas must be sublimated and rajas channelized. And at the wick stage, it's the old type lamp. You need to go on picking up the little black comes upon the wick. That's your ego. Slip your ego more and more. Then this is picture of evolution. In brief, if you are full of sattva, then stay eating sattva. I'm joking. Meaning, you don't need to go through all this study. You are enlightened. If you are full of tamas, then you are Kumbhakarana, you have to be awakened. And it takes time to be awakened. But if you are in between, Rajas moving on, now those are the people in whom there is Rajas is flowing to Sattva. They become the aspirants who will listen and who will be benefited. Otherwise, your ears are filled with muck. Raga, dvesha, attachment and hatred, they are the muck. Now those who are Rājasātvika, the sensitive aspirants, you must realize you have not developed that stage by accident. As a soul, you have gone on perfecting yourself through many births, learning lessons, becoming more enriched in a spiritual way. And therefore you are born with an ideal setting of your mind and understanding. So it doesn't happen just by accident. You have passed through many embodiments, and in those embodiments you have worked for your evolution. However, it is during the present birth that the tree of their good karma has become decked with the blooms of spiritual qualities. Their minds have become receptive to spiritual wisdom. The ideal setting is being described. Much as beautiful nymphs adorn the heavenly gardens, it's allegorical. Heavenly garden is described where beautiful flowers. But not only beautiful flowers, they are beautiful apsaras, heavenly nymphs, kind of goddesses, along with the flowers. And they are putting the flowers, taking care of the flowers, and creating malas and all types of things. But where is this heavenly garden? In your own personality. If you are moving towards spiritual evolution. All great qualities, what are they? Friendliness, gentleness, graciousness, serenity of mind, and magnanimity of the soul. Let me give you the original terms in Yoga Vasistha. Āryatā, Hṛdyatā, Maitrī, Saumyatā, Karuṇā, Jñāta, Samāśayanti tam nityam antah Pūrṇam iva angana. These great virtues, they blossom in the garden of your heart, along with Devis, your divine sentiments dancing along with those flowers. It's highly literary writing, poetic writing. Let me give you the meaning of those. Āryatā. Āryatā is well known, of course. Hitler misused the word. But Āryatā means spiritual nobility, the ideal way of following life's goal. If you are living for attaining liberation, you are Ārya. And you recognize Chattvari Ārya Satyani. If you are Ārya, you remember 4 points. There is pain. The world is not your goal. There is a cause of pain. There are means to remove the cause. And the goal is end of pain. So, and in order to attain this, you follow the four 4 purposes of your life. Dharma, righteous, ethical value. Artha, material value. Kama, vital value. Moksha, spiritual value. If you are aware of all this, you are Arya. So Āryatā. Next quality, Hṛdyatā. Heartfulness. You are more sensitive to maintain good feeling in your heart. So no matter how you live, see, just like you are always sensitive not to put the muck in your living room. But what happens if you allow yourself to entertain anger, hate, greed, an undisciplined state of mind? If you allow that, then you are constantly bringing muck in your heart. So, Hṛdyatā is lacking. Heartfulness begins to fade away. But allow heartfulness. Let your lotus of your heart blossom. And good sentiments become the petals. Automatically, its implication is immense. You will hold goodwill for all. When you are good-hearted, then good-hearted source brings out goodwill. May all be happy. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. No matter what, you don't hold any grudge against anybody. Good-heartedness shows you that all souls are like reflected suns. The reality behind each soul is God Himself. Third is called Mātri, friendliness, absence of animosity. No matter where you turn your gaze, all people are your own family. And this is not just words. If you understand with reasoning, you have gone through so many embodiments. In each embodiment you had so much family. There isn't a place where you were not born in one of the different embodiments. There aren't any jivas to which, in whose category you did not exist. So you're looking at the whole world as your family. Saumyatā. Next quality, allow your face to be gentle and gracious. Don't torture your face. If you torture your face, it shows up. I'm jokingly saying, the Saumyatā is allowing the mind to be gracious. Just like you commit certain error, you don't have to be treated abruptly. Some people have to show you your error, lead you to understand how to correct it. This movement is Saumya. But when you see error in someone, and you explode with anger, throw hot water on the face of the person. That's asabhya. Next quality, Karuṇā, compassion. It's motherly quality. Child, no matter how he does, the first point that comes in the mother is a sense of compassion. That the peace of our own heart is there. And lastly, Jñāta. Jñāta is jnana. A vision that all is Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Just as darkness vanishes with sunrise, so the illusions in the form of experiences of pleasure and pain vanish from the mind. One is enlightened, one is not looking for happiness and the idea to avoid pain. Pain and pleasure, they are simply waves. You attain a condition of prosperity, putting all your eggs together, ducks together. But that prosperity will not last. But we work very hard to come to a state of prosperity. Just as swans pursue a silvery cloud, in the same way, all great qualities pursue those who are fit to attain liberation. It's just allegorical, poetic language. Silvery clouds in the sky fascinate swans. The swans fly to catch the cloud and climb upon it. They sometimes climb upon the rainbows. The rainbows didn't invite them. So you allow your mind to become silvery clouds through purification. Then all swan-like virtues will come to you flying in a spontaneous way. Being endowed with these qualities, they approach a spiritual preceptor for guidance and spiritual instructions. Then, having taken recourse to listening, reflection, meditation, they attain spiritual enlightenment. These are the statements that are repeated again and again, and you have to go on understanding what it means. Śravaṇa, Manana, Nididhyasana. Listening. Listening, you may say, oh, I listened to the whole thing. No, I didn't. If you listen, listening has different levels. First, literary level. Did you understand the literature, the way the teaching has been presented in palabras? Do you know them? And allow your mind to have, say for example, a parable is told. Listen, and it was very fascinating. You tell that parable to your children and people around you, but have you really listened? The parable was not told just for describing the fox and crow. The parable was told for a certain moral precept, certain instruction. What's the moral behind it? And when you understand the moral, you have listened to the parable. And still you have not completely listened. If you are simply telling others without practicing it, it's superficial listening. So listening, then reflection, it's called Manana. You go on assimilating. You eat the food. If you are an animal, then you chew the cud. But as a human being, you eat the food, and the nature within you takes its own time. So after listening, your mental setup begins to assimilate it. An understanding process is not easy process. Day by day, you begin to remember what you have listened. And you begin to admire, or rather be inspired by a positive insight. Some insight, same quotation that you have studied from the Gita or the Upanishad 5 years back. Now the same quotation brings to your mind something totally different and more inspiring. So you must realize between listening, reflection, there is a subtle process. You can't rush it. And this changes the quality of your practice of contemplation and meditation. And in advanced state of meditation, your soul discovers, realizes, I am Brahman. This whole thing is, again, the Yoga Vasistha gives you all those steps for you to remember. O Rama, most aspirants follow this gradual ascent. First, birth in a righteous family. So you have to go on working for it. If you do good karmas and attain enlightenment, then you have no problem in this area. But if you continue doing good karmas, you are going to be benefited by it. Next birth will be in a better situation. So, birth in a righteous family, spiritual aspiration, being born in a wonderful family, if you simply stay satisfied with business and money and all, then you're not following the path. So the next quality is the aspiration. And just aspiration is not enough, cultivation of virtuous qualities. Your mind should be fascinated by, just like people are fascinated by having wonderful ornaments. They hear of some progressive type of ornament, how it can make your neck most amazingly glorious. People travel miles and miles to get that type of necklace or an ornament. Likewise, allow your mind to understand virtuous qualities. They are divine ornaments. And they will continue to glorify your soul. The physical ornaments, that's... If you survive the thieves, and your physical body itself is not going to hold on to ornaments all the time. So that's the predicament with physical ornaments. Nothing against it, but as long as you are moving towards spiritual ornaments, then all physical things are perfectly in order. But if your mind goes after only the material attainment, then you are a dullwit. Performance of good karmas. That again, your karmas must be good day by day. You never should say, oh, I've been doing so many good karmas. I'm tired of it. If you are doing good karma, you can never be tired. And can never be frustrated. The very involvement in good karma is just like putting yourself in a beautiful garden. Involvement in good karma will not lead you to boredom or despair. Next comes approaching a preceptor, being guided by Guru. Automatically you will be drawn to someone whose personality, whose ideal, whose example inspires you. And follow a Guru-disciple relation. Receiving instructions. And then, as you begin to practice the instructions, purification of the chitta, that becomes your objective, target. Nirmal man. The mind should not be in muck. And the more purity in mind, greater is the inspiration that flows through your mind. Same mind that stays sunk in boredom, as you allow the mind to be purified, every little gesture, you look at it, the breeze has blown, it has got an inspiration in your heart. Look what opening a window does. A spiral glides and gives you inspiration. See how flexibility does. Joking, but at the same time, you need to understand. Nirmal man. Mind becomes more and more purified. And the joy that comes out of purified mind, mind that is not under the grip of Rājasic, Tamasic ego, mind that is not under the grip of negative impressions, and basically mind that is not under the grip of anger, hate, greed, perverted desires, jealousy, horror. If mind is under the grip of these, then you live the life and have hardly any inspirational thinking. Nothing to make yourself joyous. But other way around, if you begin to purify, not only you become joyous, inspirational, but you share it. Sharing becomes automatic. And you do it for a selfish reason. Because when you share an inspirational virtue, you gain that virtue more. I'm using selfish in a broader way. Real self. You are doing good to yourself. Knowledge, you gain more knowledge when you share it. Jnana yajna, therefore, is a powerful practice on the spiritual path. And that should start everywhere, in every family. Everyone, the mother playing with children, should give like madalsa, good things, so the children can remember. But she would do only because she has also herself, she has enjoyed a positive movement. And so when you deal with society, you share goodness. So everywhere it becomes your art. intensive inquiry into the nature of the self, and all inspirational thoughts have one source. Who am I? Then developing developing that type of movement that leads you to revelation, I am Brahman, and the attainment of liberation. There are, however, some fortunate souls who, due to their previous spiritual advancement, do not follow the usual course of sadhana. These are steps described. But now, another statement is made. Don't watch all these steps in every individual. There are personalities who do not need all the details. Like Nachiketa was young and he was only in the highest level because he had perfected through previous embodiments. So all souls are not in the same level. People are in different stages of evolution. And that one shouldn't be surprised. Even the same family, if there are 5 sons and daughters, they are in different levels. They are never always alike. They look alike, maybe. They attain liberation, even like the sudden falling of a ripe fruit from a tree. In other words, if you read the stories of saints and sages, you read someone gets into a little problem and that problem allows the mind, say for example Valmiki, comes under his mind was also, his whole lifestyle was ugly. Robbing others and doing violent things for maintaining his family. But even while he was doing, he had certain previous spiritual advancement that led Narada to come in his life. And Narada walked by and Valmiki, following the same robbery instinct, wanted to take away the veena of Narada. And then the whole story I'm not telling here. But the basic point, Valmiki attained enlightenment. He didn't go through yama, niyama, asana, pranayama. So, though we describe the stages, don't look for all these stages to be done by everybody. And some people who are very advanced, they attain highest attainment, just they go into the garden and stay meditating and come out liberated. As if a ripe fruit fell right out there before them, not on their head. In the case of these rare souls, one should not forget that they were born with a highly elevated consciousness as a result of their effort in many past lives. And we will conclude at this stage. The next section is Song of the Siddhas, Siddha Gita. So keep you in suspense. Om Pūrṇamadaḥ Pūrṇamidam Pūrṇāt Pūrṇamudachyate Pūrṇasya Pūrṇamādāya Pūrṇamevāvaṣiṣyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.